Hello and welcome again to another day of classes. Today we're going to be continuing with the Interchange 5th edition level 2, the blue book, and we're going to be starting with the unit 11. As always, we're going to start by looking at the language summary or the vocabulary for this lesson. So let's start right in. You have BCE or before the Common Era. Scientists use the abbreviation BCE to mean the same thing as BC or before Christ's of Christ, not Christ's. So you know that all of the time before the life of Christ, we used to say like, oh, it's 100 years BC or before Christ or before the Common Era. That is that. A canal. A canal, it's basically a road of water that you can travel by boats. A cattle. A cattle, it's a group of cows, basically. That's how you called a group of cows. But colloquially, we say just cows, multiple cows. But the appropriate name is a cattle. Chess set. A chess set, it's basically a set of that you have the board, the pieces for the game chess to play. A clue. It's a piece of evidence or information used in the detection of a crime. It's basically if you see that there is a specific mark on the gun that killed a person, you say, this is a clue, and that can lead you to find what was the person that did the crime. Construction. This is a construction. This is the moment or the place where people are creating a building or a house or something like that. Crop or crops are the different things that you are farming in order to get like, fruits or vegetables. You can call these crops. Currency. The currency is the money of a country. Dialects, a particular form of a language which is peculiar to a specific region or social group. Okay, so a dialect, it's basically a specific way to call things in different cultures. For example, we call a book a katva in some country. We call it a kutbo. Okay, those are different ways to call the same thing depending on the place that or the social group that you are in. Drawing. This is a drawing. Something that was drawn. Oh my god. Euro. This is a specific type of currency used in a lot of parts in Europe or in the Europe Union. Exhibit. An exhibit, it's basically a specific place that is focused to show a specific type of topic. It can be I think of a western, with the cowboys and stuff. It can be an art exhibit. It can be music exhibit. It can be different stuff. Feta cheese. It's a type of cheese. It's white cheese made in Greece from sheep's milk or from a mixture of sheep and goat's milk. So basically, feta cheese is cheese of goat. Interesting. Flemish. Flemish is also called Flemish Dutch, Belgian Dutch, or Southern Dutch. It's a lower Franconian Dutch dialect. It is spoken in the whole northern region of Belgium. Basically, it's a dialect. It's a way of talking in German. Handicraft. A handicraft is something that was made with the hands. All of these different things are handicraft because they were handicrafted by people with hands. A lobster. This is a lobster, a blue lobster actually. A microscope. This is a microscope. Needles. These are needles. You can use it to make I don't know, coats or stuff, or you can use it for medicine. A novel. It is a relatively long work of narrative fiction, normally written in prose form, and which is typically published as a book. Some examples can be The Maze Runner, Divergent, Narnia, and so on. Pin. A pin can be this type of things, this, this, or this. They are usually used to be attached to something basically. Revolution. The revolution is the moment when if it's a human revolution, it's the moment where the humans stop supporting or stop accepting what other people are doing to them, so they start to change everything. You can have an industrial revolution, that is when something changed dramatically. Basically, you can say that a revolution is when everything changes really, really drastically. Rise. This is rise. Seabed. It's the ground under the sea. It's the ocean floor. That is seabed. A ship. This is a ship. Oh, it's so cute. Look at this tongue. Souvenir. A souvenir is something that you take from a country in order to remember it. For example, if you go to London, you can get a souvenir of the Big Ben. Or if you go to Paris, France, you can get a souvenir of the Eiffel Tower. Soy bean. These are soybeans. Textiles. These are textiles. You use this to craft all sorts of clothes, basically. Variety. Variety means that you have multiple options of something. You can have a variety of species, for example, here. Wheat. This is wheat. You can use wheat to make bread, to make cake, to make different things. World Heritage City is an official location where pieces of political, military, cultural, or social history have been preserved due to their cultural heritage value. It's basically one of those places that it's so important for the human history that it's a heritage of the whole human race, like the Taj Mahal, these churches in Russia, this place in China, or this in, I think it's in Rome or Greece. I don't remember. A wonder. Here we have the seven wonders of the planet Earth. Those are specific types of construction made by human beings that are or they are really, really surprising, like the pyramids and the effigy. We have the pyramid of in Mexico, the Aztecs, I think they did it. This is in Rio de Janeiro. This is Machu Picchu. This is the Taj Mahal. This is the Eiffel Tower. This is the Great Wall of China. These are the seven wonders of Earth. Let's see some adjectives. Agricultural, something related to, things like this. Amazing, something that it's hard to believe, it's something that looks really good. Corrupt. Something corrupt is when something it's not made in the way that it should. For example, in politics, if you're doing things for money and not to benefit the people, you're being corrupt. I think we know a bit about that. Digital. Anything that is digital is anything that is connected to the internet or to an electronic device. Food processing. It's the transformation of agricultural products into food, or of one form of food into the other forms. So when it's food that is processed by other things in order to be made or eaten. Life size. Of the natural size of an object, person, etc. in life. For example, here we can have a velociraptor in a life-size velociraptor, basically. That is the size that it should be made, or they should be by the time that they were existing. Manual typewriter. This is the type manual. Manual is something that it's done by your hands, that it's not automated, so you need to do it yourself. In this case, we can have a manual typewriter that you need to write it yourself. It's not gonna help you with software or something. You can have manual cars that you need to change the gears by yourself, and it's not gonna be done automatically. Medieval. Something medieval is something related to the 100 and 1500s, those types of centuries and years, basically. Official. When something is official, it's when something is true. It's gonna be true, yes or yes. It's confirmed by everyone. Tiny. Tiny is when something is really, really, really small. Traditional. Something traditional, it's something related to the history or the original history of a country. You can have traditional dolls from China. You can have traditional clothes and parades from, I don't know what country is this. And you can have traditional food. Unique. When something is unique, it's when it's only one of these in the whole existence. For example, this flower in this specific case is unique. In all of these sad faces, this smiley face is unique. Warm. Something warm, it's something that is not cold. It's something that it feels good when it's cold. Wide. Something wide, it's something with a lot of space. Like this bridge is wide. Let's see some verbs. To catch. When you catch is when you hold it with your hands when it was coming from the air or from another type of place. To consume. When you consume is when you're eating or drinking something, to make something, to put it inside of your body and stay inside of your body. To cultivate. When you cultivate food, for example, it's when you put it on the ground and you start taking care of it, etc. To direct, this is what a director does. It start saying like, okay, you need to be doing this, you need to move to this place, you need to be doing exactly this. Employ. When you employ someone, it's when you give a job to that person. Export. When you export is when you take something from your country to another country. Feature. Have as prominent attribute or aspect. So basically, a feature is something that is a characteristic of the thing. For example, a feature of this house is that it has a lot of light that can come through the windows. It has really big windows. Film. To film, actually, the verb. To film is to record a movie, basically. Manufacture. When you manufacture, it's when you are creating something with your hands or in in a, what's the name for that? In this type of places. Preserve. When you preserve is when you put things in the best way so they can be good and edible for a long time. Produce. When you're producing something, it's when you're creating it, basically. You're putting the tools, putting the materials, putting everything to make it. Rise. When you rise something, it's when you start, for example, when you raise kids, it's when you, for example, when they are born and you start giving them a good life, teaching them, giving them food, being with them until they are old. That is raising. Raise. Sorry, it's not rice, it's raise. Rice is the food. Record. When you record is when you start, taking a video, making a video or putting an audio, talking. What I'm doing right now, it's recording this video that you're watching right now. Wonder. To desire to know something. Feel curious or feel doubt. When you wonder, it's when you have questions or interrogations about something. Okay, very good. We're gonna come back here when we get to the grammar. That for today it's gonna be something quite interesting and might be known as hard, but it's not so hard. You will see. It's gonna be easier than you think. Okay, so let's start with the unit for today. The name of the unit is It's Really Worth Seeing. And in this unit, we're gonna be discussing famous landmarks, monuments, and works of art. And on the second part, we're gonna be discussing countries around the world. Okay, to start, we're gonna be looking at this snapshot. Amazing facts about amazing landmarks. So we're gonna be looking at some landmarks and some information about them. Let's see. The Eiffel Tower. When it was opened in 1889, the tower was red. After a decade, it was painted yellow, and later it was covered in different shades of brown. Interesting. So this was red, and then it was yellow. Who would have known? Machu Picchu. It is located 2,430 meters, or 7,972 feet, above the sea level, and it has resisted several earthquakes. When there is an earthquake, the stones dance and fall back into place. Interesting. The well, I don't know how to pronounce this, but I will try. The Neuschwanstein Castle. This beautiful castle, Germany, was the inspiration for the Walt Disney Magic Kingdom Sleeping Beauty Castle. Okay, so they used this castle for the inspiration of the Sleeping Beauty. Interesting. Mount Fuji. The highest mountain in Japan is made of a few volcanoes. The last recorded eruption started in 1707, so it was a really long time ago. The Statue of Liberty. The 350 pieces were made in France and then shipped to the United States. Okay, so they did this in France and then they put it together here in the United States, in New York. Interesting. Big Ben. The tower is named Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the name of the bell inside it. Okay, so this tower is called Elizabeth Tower, but the gong that is inside of the bell that is inside of it, it's called the Big Ben. Interesting. Very good. Now, let's read and listen to these perspectives. How much do you know about Walt Disney Company and theme parks? Find 3 mistakes in the statements below. Okay? So we're gonna be listening and reading these statements about, Walt Disney Company, and you need to identify 3 of them that are mistakes. Okay? So let's listen and read.
Unit 11. It's really worth seeing. Page 72. Exercise 2. Perspectives. Where dreams come true. Part A. How much do you know about the Walt Disney Company and theme parks? Find 3 mistakes in the statements below. Then listen and check your answers.
1. The Walt Disney Company was founded in 1923 in California by Walt Disney and his brother Roy. 2. Their most famous character, Mickey Mouse, first appeared in a movie in 1928. 3. The first Disney theme park, Disneyland, was opened in 1955 in California and soon became an international attraction. 4. The official opening was broadcast live by the ABC television network. 5. In 1971, the company opened their second park, Disney World. 6. Some of their most popular parks in Florida include Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Epcot Center. 7. In 1983, the company opened their first foreign park, Tokyo Disneyland. Later, theme parks were also opened in Paris, Hong Kong, and Shanghai.
Okay, very good. Did you find the mistakes that are on some of this? Let's check. Well, their most famous character, Mickey Mouse, first appeared in a movie in 1928, okay? Not Donald Duck, it was Mickey Mouse. The first Disney theme park, Disneyland, was opened in 1945 in California, not in New York. And the last one, number 7, in 1983, the company opened their first foreign park, Tokyo Disneyland. Later, theme parks were also opened in Paris, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. So it wasn't London Disneyland, it was Tokyo Disneyland. Okay? Very good, very good. Now, let's go to the grammar for today. That is something that is found difficult and hard for a lot of people. That is passives with by, or simple past, the passive voice. And this is something that can be confusing, but if you pay close attention and you try to get it, it will be easy, okay? So let's start by looking at what is passive voice and what is active voice, okay? So basically, the passive voice, in the passive voice, we're talking about, let me see, okay? We use the passive voice when we want to show that the action of the verb is more important than the person of the thing that carries out the action. When we use passive voice, we're saying that what we're doing is more important than the person or anything that happened. Okay, so here, for example, the mouse was eaten by the cat. The most important thing is that it was eaten. That is the thing that is important. We don't care much about the house or the cat. The important thing here is that it was eaten, okay? And when we use the active voice is the opposite. So the important thing here is the subject, okay? So the mouse ate the cat. So the important thing here is that the mouse, this was the thing, you know, that a mouse eats a cat. It's really important. It's like, wow. But if we say that the mouse was eaten by the cat, that's something that happens normally. So what we are saying is that the important thing is the action was eaten by the cat. Okay, let's continue. So we use the passive voice when we want to show that the action of the verb is more important than the person, thing, or thing that carries the action. For example, the car was repaired yesterday. We already know there is a car. That's not going to be something that it's important or surprising, but the action was repaired. Sorry. Here. The action was repaired here is more important than the person who repaired the car. If you notice, we didn't even mention that because the important thing here is that it was repaired. Okay? And if we use the active voice, then the important thing is who does it. So we say the mouse ate the cat. Okay, so let's see how do we make these sentences, okay? So we have the active voice and the passive voice. An example of the active, John drives the red car. John drives the red car. We have the subject, the verb, and the object. The subject is the person that does it. The verb is the action or what it does. And the object is the thing that it's affecting. So John drives the car. The important thing here is John. But then we have the passive voice in which we change this. The object becomes the subject and vice versa. The important thing now is the red car. So the red car is driven by John. Okay? I don't know if you understand that part, but I will repeat it one more time. So in the active voice, the important thing is the object, is John. Okay? And John drives the car, the red car. That is the object. But in the passive voice, the object, what you're talking about, becomes the subject. That is the important thing. Okay? And then you use is driven by John. That is the way that you change it. And we can use it in two different ways. We can use it in simple present or in simple past. Today we're going to be seeing with simple past, and tomorrow we're going to be continuing with the simple present, but okay. So for the simple past, she cleaned the house this morning. This is the active. Important thing is she, because she did it. She cleaned the house this morning. But if we talk in the passive, we don't care about who did it, but that the action was done. The house was cleaned this morning. If you notice, here in simple past, we use, for the active, use simple past. She cleaned, this is in simple past, she cleaned the house this morning. But when we use the passive, we use the present perfect, okay? So, the house was cleaned this morning. Okay, so the important thing is that the action happened. In simple present, okay, we do this. In simple present, the active voice is simple present. She cleans, sorry, let me erase that. I erased part of the word. In simple present, she cleans the house twice a week. So we use simple present. But in the passive, it changed to perfect, present perfect. The house is cleaned twice a week. Okay, so something to notice is that when you use passive, we need to use perfect tense. Okay, it can be present perfect or past perfect. Is cleaned or was cleaned. Okay, if you don't remember how to use the present perfect or the past perfect, you should go back on several videos or look for some other tutorials in YouTube to remember those. Okay, but yeah, so I hope that you are understanding this part. It's basically that the active, the important thing, it's the subject. John drives the car. It's John who does it. But in the passive, the important thing that happens is the action. We don't care much about who is doing it, but the important thing is the action. The red car is driven by John. John, no, we don't care about John. But the red car is driven. Okay, very good, very good. Now, before some uses for the passive voice is when the agent is not mentioned or it is unknown. When we don't know who did it, or we can use the passive voice. Their house was broken into last night. By whom? We don't know. We actually don't know. But it is not so important. That is the other way to use it. When it is unimportant, we don't care who does that. The important thing is what is being done. I was sent some advertising leaflets. Okay, so they give me some publicity. It is not important who gives it to me. The important thing is that they gave me that. Or when it is obvious from the context, they were arrested. Obviously, it wasn't by the police because no one else can arrest you and be it legal. Okay, very good. Those are the three uses for the passive voice. Okay, now let's go to the book to see what we have here. So basically, the passive changes the focus of a sentence. That's what we were saying. Instead of focusing on the person that does it, we are focusing on the action that happened. For the simple past, in this case, for the simple past, that's what we're talking about today. For the simple past, use the past of be, then past participle. Okay, so basically, we start with the past of be, was, or were, depending if it's, if it's plural or singular, and then we use the past participle, basically the verb in past. So, again, let's see. The active voice, the important thing here is the people. The Disney brothers founded the company in 1923, sorry. Here we are using just the simple past because it's active, and the important thing here is Disney brother. But then when we change it to the passive voice, we start with the past of be, was or were, and then the past participle or the verb in past. The company was founded by the Disney brothers in 1923. Okay? So we use this way with the passive voice, the past of be, was or were, and then founded by, opened by, broadcast by, then the subject. Okay? Walt Disney opened Disneyland in 1955. In the passive, Disneyland was opened by Walt Disney in 1955. The ABC network broadcast the opening of the park. The opening was broadcast by ABC. Okay? Very good. This is how we change the things. I hope that you understand this part. If not, you can go back in the video and listen again, or look for more information on the internet, because I know that this topic can be a bit complicated. Okay? But for now, if you understand it, very good. Now, let's do a small exercise to practice this. This is going to be easy. You're going to be completing these sentences with the simple past passive forms of the verbs. For example, in the first one, Mont Saint Victoria, we can use the verb paint, and we need to put it in passive. So, we start with the verb be and then the past participle. So, Mont Saint Victoria, I don't know how to say it, sorry. was painted by French artist Paul Cézanne. If it's one thing, you know it was. If it was multiple, it was were, and the verb in past or past participle, okay? Very good. Take your time to complete this, and then we're gonna check. Okay, you finished? Let's check. So, number one, as I said, etc. was painted by the French artist Paul Cézanne. The first Star Wars film was written and directed by George Lucas. The Statue of Liberty was designed by the French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. Number 4. The 2014 World Cup final was won by Germany. The final match was seen by almost 1 billion people all over the world. The songs Revolution and Hey Jude were recorded by the Beatles in 1968. You see, we use were here because we have multiple. In the 2007 film I'm Not There, the American musician Bob Dylan was played by 6 different people, including Australian actress Kate Blanchett. The 2016 Oscar for Best Actress was given to Brie Larson for her role in the movie Room. The first iPad was released in 2010. If you have those answers, you are correct, okay? Very good, very good. Well, we're gonna be doing the last 2 things for today that are pronunciation and listening, okay? So let's start with this. Here we have the letter O, and the letter O have 4 different ways to be pronounced, okay? So let's listen and then we're gonna practice.
Page 74. Exercise 5. Pronunciation. The letter O. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice how the letter O is pronounced in the following words. Ah,
Not.
Top.
O,
No.
Don't.
oo,
Do.
Food.
One.
Love.
Okay, very good. Did you notice the difference? Here we have not, 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 top, no, oh, no, don't, do, do, food, and we have one, wa, love. So it's okay? Now you're gonna be listening to these other words and you're gonna put it in the correct column, okay? Let's listen.
Page 74. Exercise 5. Part B. How is the letter O pronounced in these words? Write them in the correct column in Part A. Then listen and check your answers.
Come.
Done.
Lock.
Own.
Shot.
Soon.
Who.
Wrote.
Okay, very good. Did you get the answers? If not, remember you can go back and listen again to check, okay? But for now, let's check. So for the we have lock and shot. Very good. For the O, we have own and wrote. For the U, we have soon and who. And for this one, come, we have come and done. Okay? Very good, very good. If you have those answers, very good. Now let's do the last thing for today, that it's this listening. Man-made wonders of the world. You're gonna listen to 3 tour guides describe some famous monuments, and you're gonna answer these questions that we have here, okay? So Let's listen and then we're gonna check.
Page 74, Exercise 6. Listening. Man-made wonders of the world. Part A. Listen to 3 tour guides describe some famous monuments. Take notes to answer the questions below. Then compare with a partner. 1. Taj Mahal. Why was it built? What do the changing colors of the building represent?
What would you do for love? Would you take 17 years to build a place to remember someone? That's what Emperor Shah Jahan did when he built the Taj Mahal. This incredible building was designed for his wife when she died. She was his third wife, but also his favorite. The colors of the building change with the time of day, and they say that the different colors represent the different moods of women. So, ladies, you can change your mood 3 times a day and it's accepted. Now, this was built almost 400 years ago, before modern construction equipment. So think about all the work that went into building this. More than 1,000 elephants were used to transport materials, and around 20,000 people were hired to build the Taj Mahal. Now, if we walk closer, you'll see
2. Palace of Versailles. What did King Louis XIV want the Hall of Mirrors to show? What problem did the candles cause? How did the mirrors help?
Now we come to the Hall of Mirrors, one of the most famous rooms in the Palace of Versailles. King Louis XIV wanted this room to show all the riches and power of France. The paintings on the wall, the beautiful detail of the room, the gardens outside. They were all made more visible with the mirrors. But electricity didn't exist in those days, so candles were used. Any idea what problems the candles caused? Anyone?
Candles make smoke?
That's right. Candles make smoke, and smoke can damage paintings. The mirrors reflected the light of the candles, so they didn't have to use as many. Fewer candles meant less smoke, and less smoke damage to the room. Pretty smart, right? Now let's go see some of the 350 rooms and apartments for visitors.
3. La Sagrada Familia. What did the architect think about man-made structures versus nature? Why are no straight lines used?
Folks, I am so excited today to show you La Sagrada Familia. Construction on this church started in 1882, and over 130 years later, it's still not finished. The architect, Antoni Gaudí, felt very strongly that architecture should reflect nature, and you can see this in his buildings. For example, you may notice that hill over there. La Sagrada Familia is exactly 1 meter shorter because Gaudí believed that no man-made structure should be taller than its natural surroundings. And notice the curves of the church. This is another example of how Gaudí copied nature. He said, if straight lines don't exist in nature, they shouldn't exist in architecture either.
Okay, wow, that was a lot of content. But if you need to, listen a bit more to get all of the answers of this, you can go back on the video to listen again. But we're gonna be checking now. Okay, so the Taj Mahal was built for the Emperor Shah Jahan's wife when she died. The changing color of the buildings represent the different moods of women. The Palace of Versailles, the House of Mirrors, shows all the riches and power of France. The candles caused smoke. The mirrors reflected the lights of the candles, so fewer candles were used, causing less smoke damage to the room. And then we have with La Sagrada Familia, Gaudí thought man-made structures should reflect nature. No straight lines were used because straight lines doesn't exist in nature. Okay, very good, very good. I hope that you liked the class for today. That's everything for today. And tomorrow we're gonna be continuing with the passive, but this time without by using the passive with simple present, okay? I hope that you look forward for it, but that's everything for today, okay? So see you in the next time. Bye.